Hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's the big thing. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I really do. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. The Oscars were last night, man, and John Rocha and I decided we gotta talk about this event. Was it an event? How did I feel about it? You guys know how I feel about the Oscars. How did John feel about it? Jimmy Kimmel hosted, took some shots at Robert Downey Jr. How did that go over? How do we feel it went? What's the crossover between comedy and roasting and Oscars and appropriate, not appropriate, all that kind of stuff. We'll discuss that. We'll also talk about all the winners. We'll talk about any surprises we thought. Talk about the show as a whole, and that's the majority of it. And as far as box office goes, Dune kicking ace again. So we'll discuss that. There's a few other stories that we may or may not get to, but so I won't talk about it yet, because I don't know if we're going to get to it. It might be a long enough discussion in the Oscars in general. And I already saw, as you guys know, on Monday, what we do if you're watching it live, we take questions from you guys. And there's already a bunch of questions fired in from the weekend. And I can only imagine there's going to be some more as we start going. But if you're not watching live and you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you can do that on both Apple and Spotify, obviously. You want to join the Patreon, you can do that. And go to patreon.com/the big thing show. A lot of great stuff coming on. By the way, we have a new UAP news channel, which we started last week, doing pretty well. So you want to join over there. We got UAP Tuesday coming up tomorrow. We got a lot of great things to talk about here today. So throw those questions in, man. Let's start talking about the Oscars. It's me and John Rocha. Here we do it. Let's go. Here we do it. Let's go. Sure. Okay. Works for me. Here we do it. Let's go. Here we do it. Let's go. It is March 11th, 2024, the year of our Lord. Here we go. John Rocha in the house. What's up, John?
Here we do it. Let's go.
I like that. I think it's a new thing.
Put it on a t-shirt. Sell it.
I like that hat. We got going on with that hat.
It's my Liverpool LFC.
Nice.
Great match this weekend on Sunday. 1-1 with Man City. So
Okay.
I'm repping my boys today. I'm repping my boys. Also because I haven't showered. So
that works. Well, you know how it goes. Every time you talk soccer, this is what I hear. Nope, that's not what I hear.
That I know. I need to take your daughter there and take her to some matches. She needs to come down to San Diego. We'll watch some. I'll come up there to take her some LAFC matches and teach her the game. Come on,
that'd be amazing.
I'll take you both. Come on.
Yeah, man. Okay. So the show happened last night, man. It was
a show.
It was the show in general, and there's the big winner.
Yeah,
Oppenheimer, man. Oppenheimer won. A lot of different awards that we'll go through. Talk about the show in general. As I mentioned up top, if you guys have questions, the way it works in live, if you're joining us for the first time, basically John and I will go through all the topics, and a lot of it will just be the Academy Awards for today, maybe a couple other stories. But through that, we want you guys to ask any questions that you want. It can be about the Academy Awards, it can be anything else you want to talk about in general, but you just throw the questions in, and by the time we're finished with all the topics, we'll get to the questions and we'll answer until the very last one is done. All right, John, let's start with you, man. What do you think of the overall show? And then I want you to predict what I thought of the overall show.
Okay, well, I did a live watch along the show last night, and like 400 some people were joining me for a majority, and I was really surprised by that. I honestly thought it was gonna be like 30 to 40 to 50. You know, you always hear people like, whatever with the Oscars, but apparently people wanted to see what was going to happen last night, and there were a lot of good movies that were nominated. I thought it was a really good year for movies. So the ceremony I thought was great. One of the best I've seen in years. I thought Kimmel, for the most part, other than a couple of missteps, was really good as a host. Put to shame just about everybody we'd seen, aside from John Mulaney at that Governor's Ball Awards or whatever that was, to shame as a host. I thought there's some really great moments, a lot of funny stuff to talk about. That Ken performance from Gosling was great. Schwarzenegger, DeVito, and Keaton going at it was awesome for all of us nerds who remember the Batman movies from that day. And I thought for the most part, the awards went about the way they were supposed to go, and there was a lot of spreading of the wealth. So for me, overall, a good show, tight show, and it was done with time to spare. So for me, I came away for this really excited about the Oscar Award show. I think you liked it. because it didn't get too pretentious, but you still felt it was over long, and maybe Kimmel made a few more missteps than I think he did, in your opinion.
Well, I'll tell
That's
you,
my prediction.
I'm going to tell you right and wrong about a couple things.
Okay.
I think that you were wrong in my assessment. You were right in your assessment of the show.
Oh,
I thought it was a really good show. I thought I thought it was one of the better shows. My wife turned to me at one point. She goes, "We didn't fast forward through much of this." I said, "No, we didn't. We didn't." What's funny is that this is the thing. This is the point that I've made about stand-up comedy and jokes in general when it comes to how it works. Right now, look, and I stand by this, and I'll give you my thoughts on some of the jokes, and I'll overall, when it comes to comedy, you are allowed to take swings. When you're stand-up comedy, you're allowed to take swings. And there are going to be a lot of people who the majority is either going to find you funny and think that it worked, or the majority is going to think that it didn't work and maybe you shouldn't have done it, right? Your goal is always to get the majority, right? That's the goal. I don't necessarily think Kimmel got the majority with the Robert Downey Jr. stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I think he got the majority when it came to his overall hosting. I mean, look, politically, anytime you're going toe to toe with Trump on stage, you're going to get people who then automatically are not going to like you, no matter what you do. But the overall hosting job, I thought was fantastic. I thought he made it a show. He made it a party. He made it a thing to you're like, okay. And he told he did his monologue. He came out. He told another joke in order to keep it going. He changed his suit around. It felt like an old school kind of host, the way that it used to go. And he would crack a joke. He'd move along. I thought and then again, just comedically, I thought that he sat in the Downey Jr. stuff for too long. And I felt like when he went after him, I think it was like even Downey, when he went a little on the nose with that one, he should have moved on from the highest part. That's it. Should have moved on from that. But then Downey went after him. So he quipped back with the cocaine thing. And then he needed the dog thing because that transitioned him into this joke. But because he held on that, because he added that ad lib of the cocaine thing, it was this. It's like, do the high thing, do the thing. People go, oh, that's a little crazy. But he did there were some really good jokes that worked overall. I thought that he moved the show at a great pace. I was bummed. I knew it was coming, but I was bummed that Giamatti didn't win. But that Cillian Murphy did, because he was fantastic. I loved that American Fiction one, and I loved what the dude said about the budgets.
Yes.
You heard me. So there was, and Godzilla winning. I probably cheered. Thought the Gosling thing was fantastic. Fantastic. It was like, this is what we're talking about when you make it a show. Oh, you know what I didn't love? The in memoriam, the actual idea of playing the Bocelli song. Great, but I can't see it. I don't want to see the dancing. Show me who passed away.
That's exactly what I said when I was watching. I was like, why are they should not be in the foreground distracting us. It's about the people who've passed.
Right.
So let's go back into close frame. Yeah, I don't need any of that. I agree with you 100%. I thought the performance was great vocally. But yes, the dancing. No.
If you're in the audience,
right,
100%. In the audience, I'm like, okay, great. People doing this, and I can see the screen in the background. But if I'm going, wait, who? Oh, wait, get that thing out of the way. I want to see who passed. So that, and then, all right. So here's a question. I see mixed reviews on this one.
Okay.
What do you think about the best supporting actor, actress, best actor, actress thing that they brought back with all the actors coming out and, giving some words about their nominees and then presenting it?
I loved it as a concept, and I thought it came off really well.
Yeah.
But I'm an actor. So for me, having other actors come out to talk about how great the new current crop of actors are, or the nominees, I think is a really awesome experience. The problem is that they gave so much for them to say in the initial things. When we get to the bigger awards and you're trying to cut for time, it's felt to me like they cut some of those intro speeches a little short. So they only said certain things. You should not be blowing your wad on the best supporting actor, best supporting actress. You should be blowing your wad on the best actor, best actress. But as a concept overall, I loved it, and I thought they all had wonderful things to say, and you can tell the actors who were nominated were very moved. And at a time when after the strikes, you're reappreciating the business, reappreciating actors. I thought it was a great way to show respect to that profession. So I loved it.
So and the other thing for me, I also enjoyed it. I thought it worked. And what I've always said, and I stick to it, I still think that the Oscars should be on streaming. I still don't think it should be on network television.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, even the way Jake Paul and Tyson are going to be on Netflix, right? That should show you something. Show you something. Like, you should put these things on streaming. Still, even because you'll also be able to make it even more of a show. You don't have to worry about the time limit. You can do what you want to do.
Very true. Yeah.
Get it off of network television. I still say that. That's part one. Part two is that when it comes to and this is the way that people, because I saw even people in the comments going, why are we watching actors celebrate themselves? Why do we watch wrestlers do the Hall of Fame? Why don't we, like, if you're in that profession in general, if you like the profession and you watch it, that's what you're watching. My issue is when people start giving over politicized speeches and things when it's not necessary, right? Like, I always bring it up. If Lily Gladstone had won and she's bringing up certain things as far as politics and, her everything about her culture, of course, it's like that's the time for it. Yeah, when there's a time for it. There wasn't a lot of that last night. There wasn't a lot of that last night, and I was like, and I think it's one of the things, and the show moved. And people's speeches. I thought Billie Eilish's speech was so pure and so wonderful. This thing with her and her brother. My daughter's obsessed with her. Right? I don't know anything about her. She, but it's like her performance. I thought was great. Yep. And there were certain things. I love him, but Pacino had no idea what he was doing.
Oh, I was so pissed because the show, as you said, and I said it was going great. And then Pacino walks out there like he's at a luncheon at the Elks Lodge, and he's like, "My eyes see Oppenheimer. I think it's Oppenheimer."
Oh, thanks. I'm glad to be here. Okay.
How does this go?
I'm reading an award. I got something. Okay. Best Picture. Opening up. My eyes see Oppenheimer. First of all, he's gone through different stages of his tone in his voice. He went from like up here at one when he was on The Godfather in New York to somehow going a little more southern, right? And last night he turned into an old Jewish man from Brooklyn. But he botched. I love one of my all-time favorites, and he totally botched that thing at the end. He doesn't give a shit. What does he care?
No more old actors presenting these big awards. No more. I'm not against, I'm not anti-ageist or anything like that. But if you're going to bring them out, you got to do it like they did with Liza. You bring out Lady Gaga with her. So they stay the course. They do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. And then they get reminded. The fact that they let Pacino walk out there. And let me tell you some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
From a friend of mine who works on a number of these award shows.
He just wandered out and then he said, fine.
It was supposed to be Cher and Nicolas Cage in a reunion of Moonlight. Yeah, right, exactly. Moonlight, whatever the show or the film was.
Moonlight, whatever it was, Moonlighting.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and they were supposed to present the Best Picture, but they called an audible and got Pacino to walk out there, and clearly he was not.
Cher's pissed. Is that what you said?
Huh? No, Cher and Ryan Gosling. Oh, Cher and Nicolas Cage.
But maybe Nicolas Cage was already up there, and that's why they decided they didn't want to do it.
Maybe they called an audible, and maybe that's where they put
Moonstruck. That's what it was. Moonstruck. Thank you.
Snap out of it. Yeah, but so I think it would have been better with those two, but in the end, Pacino just wandered out there and like fumbled over the whole thing, which was terrible. You don't want the biggest award to be anticlimactic.
It was botched. It was botched. And then there were what they did well in the entire you can pick normally. You can it's like snoozer after snoozer after snoozer. And you're like, fast forward. And there's no bits that stand out.
Right.
A ton of bits that stood out. The Ryan Gosling bit stood out. The opening monologue for Kimmel stood out. The Cena bit, the John Cena bit.
That was great.
Dude, that guy is fearless. He's fearless.
Dude, I watched Ricky Stenicki over the weekend, and that is a dumb fucking movie, and I laughed my ass all through it because
I was Santino in it.
Yeah, Santino's great because he's fearless. Like you said, he's fearless. And this whole thing was fearless. Yeah.
He was fearless. And it was a good bit with him and Kimmel. And that's my point with Kimmel, is that Kimmel, because of doing his show and his comedic timing, he knows, like, okay, we don't want it to flatline and we don't want it to next award. Like, I got a little bit. Let's bring Cena. Cena you'll do that? Yeah. Okay, absolutely. Great. It's to be hilarious. And it's memorable. And you remember it. I thought it was gonna be like Will Ferrell again coming out. Surprised there were no shots of Damon. No Matt Damon shots.
I know, and he didn't even show up to be part of the people there
Oppenheimer?
receiving the award for Oppenheimer. So that was really surprising too.
He probably had something going on, right?
Yeah,
You'd assume.
sure.
He's usually at all these things.
Probably doing a Dunkin' Donuts commercial with that.
Probably. And then the other thing is one of my all-time favorite bits was DeVito and Schwarzenegger.
I mean, come on.
Come on. It was, dude, it was so improv also.
Yeah.
Arnold called Michael Keaton son of a bitch twice. Twice.
I mean, you got me in Twins, then you leveled up to Batman, and I was like, this is a great ride. Please don't take the wheel. I wish Pfeiffer was in the audience. I wish there had been everybody and they had panned to them from those films. That would have been awesome.
Look at them, son of a bitch. So good. Twice.
And Candy played with him. Keaton was like, bring it. It was great. Oh,
you guys looking for something. And he was just Josh Hartnett, by the way, has a full 45-minute interview with him. It just went up.
Wow, with Keaton?
Yeah. And he talked about it, the opening intro of it. I just texted Josh. I cannot wait to dive into this thing.
I'm gonna watch this. He
talks about that Morbius scene, and he's like, did you know what was going on? He's like, no, and they didn't either. It's like it's so great. So great. But that bit was just awesome. It's funny though, because someone said it in the audience too. And I think that it was it would have been good if like Clooney was there for Arnold.
Oh,
that would have been great.
Yeah,
that would have been great. Trying to think what else there was. And then the dog finally was able to be in the audience. That was a whole big controversy that the dog couldn't be there.
How ridiculous is that?
And then Godzilla winning was fantastic.
Yes,
I'm happy that it did.
Yeah.
The animated one was a shock to me.
Really?
Yeah, I guess not as much because I thought Spider-Man was going to sweep overall all the awards, and then they didn't. Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, loved that bit between Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah, the Barbenheimer thing. Great roasting bit between the both of them
because they were both, because it was just like, this whole thing of we got you in box office. Like, yeah, but it wasn't really much of a rivalry. Wiped your fucking ass with all the awards throughout it. It was just so good. And then you can really tell how much people love Greta Gerwig.
Oh yeah.
But you can just tell, like everyone who works with her, like you can just tell, like she's running around in the audience. Like after Billie Eilish run, she could see her running from her seat and she hugs. It was just, it felt the most like pure out of the whole entire thing. It didn't feel as pretentious to me as it usually does. It just felt more pure. And like for people like, well, there's just a bunch of people honoring themselves. That's the point of the freaking thing. It's like me, it's the same way I use wrestling. If you're watching wrestling, what are these people? They're celebrating beating the shit out of each other. Yeah. And other stuff.
Take it to the next level with wrestling. Like you said, like, why is there a Hall of Fame? It doesn't even fucking exist. There's no building. There's no place you can go to.
Right.
And you're having a whole ceremony where these wrestlers come out and deliver 2-hour fucking monologues about their career. And I'm a massive pro wrestling fan. I'll tell you, there's no difference between the Hall of Fame and the fucking Oscars. It's all about kissing the ass of the people. But you know why? Because those people influenced you. They were a part of your life. They inspired you.
But that's
you love their movies. You love their wrestling matches. So it's okay.
Yes. And so that's why I liked yesterday's thing, because I didn't feel like, because like I do feel, and I mentioned it many times over, that if I'm following people on Twitter and they start going political, or they do a whole bunch of different things, and they're going through this whole, with diatribes and on Twitter. Well, I follow you on Twitter, and that's your personal Twitter, and that's on me because I decided to do it.
Yes.
If I'm tuning in to watch a celebration of acting and film, and you start preaching to me through speeches and monologues and everything too, I'm like, it's not why I'm here. I'm not here for that. I'll go to your Twitter. I'll go to, a news network. I'm not here for that. And they didn't do that last night. No. And people, what about the Trump thing? Well, that was a retort. That was a retort. That was a retort, and that was two people punching at each other, and I thought it was hilarious. It was hilarious. It's like they're both, you're gonna throw a jab, I'm gonna throw a punch back. So that wasn't planned. It was just a retort. So I don't even think it was necessarily political as much. It was just like two people, slapping each other.
Yeah, and listen. Isn't it past your jail time? That's a fucking great singer. So whatever your feelings are about it, objectively, that was a great fucking singer.
Right.
So,
well, that was my point in the beginning, though. It won't be though, because it comes down to, there's just when it's especially where we are today, with you can't appreciate like a joke about if someone would go against your team. You just it doesn't work either way, because there's either way because there's so in the other on the other side of it, if it was because I didn't necessarily think the tweet from Trump was very clever, but if it had been, there would have been people going, well, that wasn't funny, and you're like, well, but it was. But it was just you've seen the stuff happen the same way before. But either way, I thought that the entire production was really good and it didn't feel preachy. I thought Emma Stone was very genuine.
Yeah.
The thing with the dress was hilarious. The poor thing. And it was I
like the look of it, brother. I really like the design and the style of the stage. All of the swooping design there, kind of like you're painting. All of that vibe was both classic and modern at the same time, and I love that. Then the energy, you could feel the energy of the room from the beginning. Although Jimmy stumbled on the RDJ, and I think that's back to our basic rule, which we talked about months ago with the Jabby Kawhi thing, where it's like you got to talk to the person if you're going to bring up something really personal from their past. He's 20 years sober. I think you got to tell Downey you're going to do that so that he can.
It was a cheap shot.
Yeah, it was a cheap shot a little bit, because it's not like Kimmel wasn't in blackface years ago. What if Robert had come back with something like that? So it's just that kind of thing. You don't want to poke fun at these kinds of things because you can without the person's approval. So after we got over that, though, I felt the energy was very positive throughout, man.
I'm going to give props to that moment on, and also because I know her, Susan Downey.
Yeah,
I'm going to give her so much props because she was sitting there, smile on her face, probably just the same thing, you motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
but smile on her face and just like knowing how to work the game, knowing that the camera is on you, knowing that, and Downey, Downey was just like, come on, move on, dude, let's go, and you just tell, okay, I'm smiling, because even Emily Blunt put her hand on her shoulder, and he looked back for it. That's cool, it's cool, and then he kept going, and Downey's like, all right, dude, let's go. Like, because everybody's feeling like Downey's gonna win. He wins, and it's just like the tension's gonna win. And good on him. I thought he was gonna. I was like, don't bring it back up. He didn't even mention it.
Right.
Didn't even mention it.
Class act. And I bet Susan told him, don't fucking mention it. Go up there. This is your moment. Don't pull a Will Smith and slap him. This is your moment. Say your thing. And he was so complimentary of her. It was beautiful.
It was. Speaking of which, the lead into that scene a bit where they show, before they show the footage of the streaker coming out, when he goes, what used to be the most infamous moment, but doesn't even talk. That's it. Just lets you know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I thought it was a really well done overall good performance. And he even said, he goes, look, we're ahead of schedule. We're ahead of schedule because you kept the show moving. There's good musical performances. And then
who's his assistant? Who's his assistant?
Grandma, right?
Yeah. That moment was great too. The toast, that was so funny. I liked it.
My wife was cracking. You can get my wife laughing out loud, then you're doing something right. Because that whole thing when it's like, and my wife, Charlie Theron or whatever you called her, and like John Kazin, whatever I can't remember what he called him, and then you're like, no, Kazin.
Coleman Flamingo.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. That whole tequila bit. And I'll tell you, you know who looked smoking hot last night, by the way?
Tell me.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes.
Good Lord. Good Lord. I was like, I even said to my wife, I go, she looks hot.
Yeah.
It's like that was, I mean, I always think she's pretty, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
She looked hot. Okay. Everybody. Thoughts on it. I see a bunch of questions coming in still. Like that. Good stuff. We'll get into all of it. We got more things to talk about here today. But if there's any other thoughts that we didn't get to on the Oscars, the Academy Awards, or what you thought, I'd love to hear it. So make sure you put that in there. Now, before we get going, I'm excited to talk to you guys as we do. We've got both Nutrafol and Fume today. Let's tell you about both of them right now. Here you go. Let's talk about some habits, because you guys know you got some habits, and there's nothing better than beating a bad habit with a good habit. And we've talked about Fume before. You guys know we've talked about Fume. We've had Fume on, and we're glad that they are back. It's great. And Mark Riley is the one who's really been talking this thing up, and I can't wait for him to talk about it even more so on the show when he's on for UAP. And he's just talking about how flavorful it was better than he thought. It feels very fresh, and it's like refreshing herbal tea, but if it was vapor. It was. You can look at like sticky soda. It's got It's really good. It's well weighted. It's perfectly balanced. It's extremely fun to fidget with, and it really look at the wood itself. It's great. You can start the year off right with the good habit by going to tryfume.com/big thing and getting the journey pack today. Fume is giving listeners to the show 10% off when they use that code big thing to help make starting the good habit much easier, because you get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit that you're free to enjoy, and makes replacing your bad habit easy. It comes with adjustable airflow dial, and it's designed with movable parts. It's great. They use flavored air instead of vapor. Fume is completely natural, by the way, instead of electronics. And this is the reason why I decided. People are like, well, why would you get involved with something like this? Why? Because they don't use harmful chemicals. They use delicious flavors, and that's why I got involved. Fume works. They're great. So thank you again to Fume for sponsoring the show. Let me tell you guys about Nutrafol. I'm going to tell you guys about Nutrafol. I'm very excited to tell you about Nutrafol. I've told you about Nutrafol many times over, and I've gotten people, and Nutrafol even said, like, we're back because the audience is listening, and they're checking it out, and it's working. Because if you didn't know, did you know that 80% of men are going to experience hair thinning in their lifetime? Because it's normal. It doesn't have to be your fate. You can get ahead of it with Nutrafol. What is it? Well, it's a clinically tested hair growth supplement for men. A lot of times you blame genetics, but there are multiple things at play when it comes to hair thinning. So what is Nutrafol? It is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding. You can take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is going to offer our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men. You got to enter that promo code big thing. You can find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men. Nutrafol.com/men. You got to enter that code big thing. Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code big thing. Very excited to have them on board. Thank you to Nutrafol and Fume. This weekend, man, I got a great through comments and through DMs. I got some people going, "Hey, listen, we heard you, and we know that supporting the show, you get the sponsors, and we know that it helps the show." And I got some people saying, "Hey, I checked. I actually got some Nutrafol, and it's been super helpful. So thank you. And check out Fume. Links in the description, and it'll be the pinned comment. So thank you guys very much." All right, John.
Yep.
We got some box office news, man.
Let's do it, man.
Crazy box office. And this is what I'm telling you. This is why you shouldn't bet with me. Because I always win when it comes to stuff, because I don't take stupid bets. And I didn't bet you on this, and you're lucky that I didn't, because you would have lost.
Okay.
I love this movie. You know I love Dune.
Yeah.
Didn't even make #1 its second week.
Yeah.
Because Kung Fu Panda 4 came in swinging. Now, Dune's doing very well. Didn't get hurt. It had a drop off, as we knew that it would.
Yep.
But the competition is coming in.
Yep.
Kung Fu Panda, 58.3 million, overperforming. Dune Part 2, 46 million. Imaginary shits the bed with 10 million, but it didn't really cost that much to make. Cabrini makes 7.6, and then Bob Marley bringing in another 4.
Yeah.
But Kung Fu Panda made 80 million worldwide, which is a great opening for that movie. And did you see Kung Fu Panda?
Not yet. No, I didn't have a chance to go see it this weekend.
It's
like it?
It's fine.
Okay.
I did the review with I did an out of the theater, but then I did a review with Kristi on Breakfast All Day.
Oh yeah.
She hated it. I mean, she hated it. I didn't hate it. I just thought it was generic. But this is a strategy that the studio made that paid off. And like, there's no Angelina Jolie in this movie. There's no Seth Rogen.
Right.
It's just Jack Black and Awkwafina, basically. Those are your two big costs when it comes to this movie overall. And you can tell the budget was scaled back dramatically to around $80 million. And it just made the production budget back like that. Right. Yep. So it's a smart move. Now, did it hurt the quality of it? I think so. I think it hurt the quality of the movie. but it ain't gonna matter because there's nothing else for kids to see in the theater right now.
Yeah.
I've seen it already, and I'm going to take my 6-year-old to see it again next. Well, she hasn't seen it yet, but I'm going to take her to see it next week.
Okay.
So it makes sense. What'd you think about Kung Fu Panda taking the
I
title?
was really surprised. And the fact that it almost beats, like it almost had an opening weekend that was the best of the series is super surprising on a fourth installment here. But I also think this speaks to people's love of Jack Black. Like people have a genuine affection for Jack Black. He's got a new version of Britney Spears' song "Hit Me One More Time" on the soundtrack. And so he's been out there promoting it, and I think people enjoy him. You know, people look at The Rock for the Jumanji thing. You've also got to look at Kevin Hart and Jack Black. Jack Black can pull people into theaters. The Goosebumps film did well for what it was, and so I think Jack Black has that attraction for people. And you're 100% right about the fact that people want to take their kids to something, for God's sake. And so this film is out there for them to enjoy. And quality, you can cut on the quality a little bit because people know what this franchise is already, so they know they're going to get people in it. Will it have legs? That's going to be the thing in the next few weeks for it. But
I think it has more legs. Yeah. I think it's got more legs than Dune because
you might be right.
Well, because that what we just talked about. Dune, if you're going, well, I want to watch a big movie in the theater and I've seen Dune, what do I do? Godzilla and Kong. You want to just kind of shut your mind off and watch, two monsters fight? Sure, why not? Let's go have some popcorn. It's the fact that it's cannibalizing itself with Warner Brothers is still, I can't believe that they're doing that. And then Ghostbusters is the other thing. Now, Ghostbusters is the only thing that maybe because a lot of kids that grew up with Kung Fu Panda, I keep saying Kung Fu Panda. Keep saying it. I can't stop saying it. Kung Fu Panda. Well, Kung Fu Panda, like my oldest loves those movies, but she really wants to see Ghostbusters. She can't wait to see Ghostbusters, but the little one wants to see Kung Fu Panda. So but I think Kung Fu Panda is going to have legs for sure. But Dune, now when you look at Dune overall, right now, Dune has made 367 worldwide.
Yeah.
If you average out, I think, let's say it does, I don't know what it did internationally this weekend, but I know that it made 40 something for this weekend domestically. And let's say what it made, like maybe another 70 this week, whatever it was.
Yeah, because of China. It did really well in China.
Okay. All right. So let's say, I'm telling you, I think I'm thinking it's gonna tap out around like between 600, 650. Yeah.
It feels that way, right? Because I mean, 46 million is still good for second weekend. I think the first Dune film did 41 million on its opening weekend, but of course, you want to judge it by what it is right now, and the fact that it dropped this much, although still a little bit above, because most people thought 40. So 46, not bad, but we'll see if it catches on internationally more and more. But it seems like it's very clear that it's heading towards 6, 7 at the most, and then we're gonna call it a day. So unfortunate. I thought it would hit $1 billion, but clearly not as much people want to go see this film.
It's harder, dude. It's harder to get as I was telling you when we talked about this initially. It's a dense film. It's almost a 3-hour film. It's not a lighthearted film, and it to me it just makes sense that that's where it was going to end up. I think it's on par to do exactly what it was going to do. I think that the $1 billion dart is not easy to hit. And
Let me ask you this. Don't you think, because look, Oppenheimer just as dense, Oppenheimer just as long, just as much of a downer. Do you think they fucked up not putting this in the summer? Because I wonder if June, when the kids are out, when people are out, when people want to go to the theater, did they mess up not putting this out in June and maybe cost themselves some money? Would it have crossed $1 billion if it had come out during the summer season, especially with all the reviews?
No, I think that November, when they originally had it planned, maybe you get a shot because it's the same problem it has now, is that you run into a lot of Barbie and Oppenheimer did not have a lot of competition last year. They owned the summer, because I remember going, Mission Impossible was like one of them, and it was
which underperformed.
It underperformed because of when it came out, and then that was it. Really, there wasn't anything else. If you put this movie out, especially when it's supposed to come out in November, and then you put it out in June, and then you got Deadpool, you got all these other movies, it gets eaten. Now, if you move it to November again, then you're like, oh my God, how long do I got to wait for this? Plus, you got to then when you get what's the big one in December this year? Something big in December. I can't remember what it is. There's a few. Wicked. And then
Yeah, Wicked is in December.
there's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else. There's something else in December that's
When's
big.
Planet of the Apes? Is that coming?
No, that's May. That's it.
Oh,
That's like a
May,
couple
okay.
weeks.
That's-
Or a couple months. There's something big in December. I have to go through it and look. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, it's just it's a different type of dance also. And it also as they joked about last night,
Yeah.
that Barbie 1-2 punch thing, that's like a once in a lifetime thing.
You're not wrong. I think the other ones in December are the Mufasa movie, Karate Kid movie, and Lord of the Rings animated.
Yeah. So Mufasa, I mean, that's another
Could be
Mufasa
good.
got a shot to be a big one because of the same thing we're talking about with Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Same thing. It could be big and a good holiday movie. And if it's good, because the thing, I mean, look, shit, man, the Lion King remake was the same movie, it was the same movie, and that movie made $1 billion. It was the same
$1.6 billion, man.
Right. The same movie.
Yeah.
So if they make an original one with Mufasa to see how he I'm interested in that. I want to see how Mufasa kind of came to power. That's kind of interesting. I mean,
Sure.
I don't, because people go, well, I know that he dies. Not in that movie. And die in that movie. Probably got to meet some new people.
I know that he dies.
Yeah.
You know what? The ship sank in Titanic, still made $1 billion. Come on.
Yeah. Someone thinks Beetlejuice 2 will make $1 billion. I don't know about that. I think it'll be. I'm very excited for that movie.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that movie. And the rumors that it's more practical effects and it's not a lot of CG. I mean, well, not a lot of blue screens, green screens, whatever. Yeah. And then how about that shot they took at Transformers last night? That was hilarious.
I thought that was funny.
When you talk about,
I'm a Transformers fan. I still liked it.
It was funny. That's my point. Is that if you just funny jokes, you can be able to laugh at yourself and laugh at things that you like, even if it's like I was going. And I don't like where he went or who he went after on that one, but that was funny. Like look, here's the other thing. This happened over the weekend with us.
Break it down.
If you've been watching this channel, you know that we crack jokes on everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Winston was on Capes and Cowls on Friday, and he told us, yeah, Winston's the best. We were telling this story about, and I said I was talking about what's the I still can't remember his name. The kid who played Flash, Grant. What's his name?
Grant Gustin. Yeah,
right. Well, I called him Grant Gustafson. and we caught it quick, and we started laughing about it. And then Winston's like, "Oh, you reminded me of when I took my ex-girlfriend. Her name was similar." And he's like, and then I went to pick her up for this thing, and her dad was on the balcony with a shotgun, and I'm like, I get it, you're being the protective dad, but the implications of an old white man sitting on the chair with a shotgun. And Corey goes, "Where was this?" And he goes, "Texas." He goes, "Texas." And I go, "What?" Yeah. And we started laughing about it. Right? So I was like,
of course.
And this guy's like, "You lost a subscriber because you're making fun of Texas." I was like, in saying that it's racist. I'm like, that's not what I said. I'm saying if you tell that story and you go, what state do you think this happened in? Because Winston didn't even say the guy. He didn't say the guy was racist. He said the guy was sitting there with a gun to protect his daughter. And you're like, well, that's Texas. Okay. Yeah. And most people that were from Texas are going, yeah, I can see it.
And most people take pride in that shit. Most people are from Texas. So,
and I'm going, and I said to the guy, "Oh, look, man, I thought he was kidding at first. I thought he was kidding." And I'm like, "Look, if you really," I'm like, I'm not gonna go make fun of the guy. I was like, if you get upset on that, then you're definitely watching the wrong channel, because we got to be able to goof on things. And had I said, well, yeah, because Texas is a bunch of racist people, then you have every right to come after me, because that's ignorant and stupid.
Generalization.
That's not what anybody said. We were goofing on it. And Winston's from Texas. He's just laughing, and I'm like, you can't. And I said, this is the problem. Everyone gets so offended at everything now.
Yeah, the only both sides argument I'll accept is that both sides are getting way too sensitive about
everything.
Yeah, about these kinds of jokes. No, I'm not saying I excuse certain jokes. I'm not saying that, but like, we got to be able to joke about certain things, for fuck's sakes, just to fucking alleviate all the stress and negativity. Yeah,
I thought he was kidding, dude. I thought like, that's hilarious. And he's like, no, I'm telling my friends to unsubscribe too. I'm like, if they find that, if they think that it's anything except a joke, then yeah, you guys should find a different channel. Because like that's the thing though. Is I can't do it anymore. I'm too.
Of course you can't.
Too old.
Who can do?
Too old. At this point, I'm just like, dude. Yeah. Either okay, if you got offended by it, I appreciate it. I understand. I'm sorry you got offended, but you're right. You should. And like I said, it's the guy's right.
Sure.
But it goes back to what we talked about in the beginning, right? That goes back to the point. And what have we talked about so many times with comedians? If someone tells a joke that you don't like, you have the right to, if it's a comedy special, not watch the special, not watch the show, unsubscribe from the channel, do it.
Sure.
You have your right to do that.
Right.
You don't have the right to say, you can't tell those jokes. You can't do that.
Right.
Comedians can tell any joke they want. They face the repercussions of it no matter what.
Yeah. Consequences.
But there's certain things that I don't feel, depending on what the joke and how a joke is structured and things too. Like we've mentioned this, right? There are certain things sometimes that, like when we talk about the Shane Gillis, right? If Shane Gillis said a particular thing, like when people were trying to go after him and cancel him on Saturday Night Live, I thought it was ridiculous. But then you go to Michael Richards, what he did, that wasn't a joke. That was anger. That was anger going after and racially going after somebody. It's not a joke. That's just racially calling someone a name that anybody can do. Not a comedian. It wasn't a crafted comedian joke. So there's differences in it, and
terrible imagery too. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, the show that as you see, my buddy made this one. That's
right. Aaron
made this. It's great stuff. But there's a show coming out, man, right now by the dudes at Game of Thrones, Benioff and Weiss, the 3-Body Problem.
Yeah.
Reviews are in. Have you looked at any of these reviews?
I did not get the Netflix screeners for this one, so I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but I'm just saying the reviews are out.
And
I haven't looked yet. And we're doing this together.
Let's take a look. What do you got?
Game of Thrones writers, this is Dark Horizons, writers, producers Benioff and Weiss return with the Netflix sci-fi series 3-Body Problem, a lavish new drama that has overtaken the live-action One Piece to become the most expensive first season of any show on Netflix at $20 million an episode.
Woo!
That's a lot of money. The reviews for this trippy sci-fi tale based on Lou Sixton's novels aren't as kind as they were for the pirate adventure, not private. Following its premiere at South by Southwest, 3-Body Problem has clocked up a relatively average 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Hugo Award-winning novel trilogy runs from 1960s on Earth until the end of time in the distant fringes of the universe and boasts an expansive cast, including Giovanna Adipo, John Bradley, Rosalind Chow, Liam Cunningham, Isaac Gonzalez, Jess Hong, Marlo Kelly, Benedict Wong, and Jonathan Pryce. There's a ton of praise for the show's ambition and scale, but criticisms are abound in regards to its characterizations and overall writing. It's rare to see this kind of hard sci-fi on screen with the financial foundations in place to fully realize what is a complex and brazen vision of our world, says The Wrap. A hugely ambitious adaptation of a hugely ambitious book. As an opening season, it feels like a setup for something bigger, but what's here is thoroughly impressive giant-scale television. That's from Total Film. 3-Body Problem certainly has its high points, but the convolution of plot manages to damper any goodwill the episodes conjure up with the audience. From Awards Watch, and the last one here is, the fact is 3-Body Problem is pedestrian at best when it should be epic, and that's a problem. From Deadline. There's a few more that you can read there, Dark Horizons, that kind of sum it up, but it's a bummer. I think that this one needs to hit for Benioff and Weiss, because they're coming off of that last season of Game of Thrones, which I think you and I both enjoyed.
For the most part, yes, until the ending.
I didn't mind it. I understand people's criticism with it, especially if you're like the big book fans, but I didn't mind it. But this is a big. They need this show to hit big. They really do, especially at $20 million a pop.
I think what you said is right. I mean, because when they veered off the source material of Game of Thrones is where a lot of Game of Thrones fans got critical of what Benioff and Weiss could do. They lost the Star Wars movie for what we hear are differing recounts of the account of why they were off that film, and now they come out with this, and it seems like, and I was looking at some of the reviews while you were reading them, it seems like a pretty divisive situation. Variety liked it, Hollywood Reporter did not, IndieWire didn't like it, so it seems to be a divisive thing, and 71% is not where you want to start out with an already dense series like this. You want people to commit to the series, and a lot of people have a lot of other things they can watch right now, and so you see reviews like this, you're like, do I really want to invest in this? But Netflix has kind of overcome reviews in the past before on some of their stuff here, man. Sure. Avatar Lost Airbender just got 2 and 3 seasoned renewed.
That's different, though.
It wasn't reviewed that great.
I know, but that's
right. It already has a following and a
it had such a fan base that they
Good
were
point.
like,
Good point.
yeah. Because but what I will say about that is that the One Piece is an example, and then Avatar, the same example, is that I would have never watched One Piece. I would have never watched it. It just what didn't seem like preview was that it was for me, right? I'm not a big anime guy, and I didn't know. And then I started hearing so much buzz from it. Started to hear so much buzz from it. I don't want to check it out because my daughter was a fan of it, and I'm like, oh, I'll watch one episode. And then I did a whole rewatch series because I loved it. Loved it. I thought it was done so well that I wanted to check it out. Now, Avatar was one I was going to start doing reactions to, and then I heard fans going, and I'm like, forget it. I'm not gonna dive into it. Maybe I'll check it out because of what you just said. There's so many other things. I still haven't watched Shogun, and I want to watch Shogun.
God damn it!
I know, and I want to watch Shogun. So I'm like, that is one I want to watch, and that is one I want to start checking out. That's first on my list before I get to Three Body Problems. Before I get to any of that stuff, I'm doing Shogun first. And even though the subject matter clearly is something that I should be checking out, and my fingers are crossed. I'm hoping it's going to be good, but it's a lot. Again, when majority is going 71%, scratch of the head.
You start to worry.
You start to worry.
Agree.
Yeah. All right. So I ask you guys, by the way, make sure that you put your comments in there, and whether it's on the replay or now. And as John and I said in the beginning, we'll say now throw your questions in as we're going to hit like one or two more stories, but throw your questions in because we're going to get to all of them, and then we'll be here until the last one is Dunsky. Let me see if there's anything else in particular that we should really cover here today. We did the box office. We did. We talked about Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton talked about Beetlejuice. Did you see that
with Josh?
No, not with Josh. I'm sure he does, but this is an older one.
Okay,
that I think came out last week. He's hyping up Beetlejuice.
Okay,
and so Michael Keaton sees an early Beetlejuice sequel cut. So stars always talk up their films. That's part of the job.
Of course.
But veteran actors are generally a bit more candid and truthful in their assessment of the films. Michael Keaton has spoken about Beetlejuice, the long in the works sequel to Tim Burton's iconic 1988 dark comedy Beetlejuice that came out this fall. It's coming out this fall, excuse me. Keaton reprises his role of the vile bio-exorcist spook in the film, and has previously gushed about how much fun he had shooting the movie and loved how practical the effects were. Now it seems he's seen an early cut. Speaking on Sirius XM's The Jess Cagle Show, he says, "It's just so fun, and I've seen it now. I'm going to see it again after a couple of little tweaks in the editing room, and I can confidently say that this thing is great." Keaton added that he rewatched the original to get back into the character for the sequel. "I probably only really seen it in the beginning once or twice, maybe. So I hadn't seen it in a long, long time. So I did go back and look at it again. It's beautiful, beautiful physically. The other one, the sequel, was so fun and exciting visually. It's all that, but really beautiful and interestingly emotional here and there. I wasn't ready for that. It's great." He adds that Catherine O'Hara was doubly funny in the sequel, which also stars Winona Ryder, Jenna Ortega, Monica Bellucci, Willem Dafoe, Justin Theroux, Arthur Conti, and Bern Gorman. So, John, you hear these statements by Keaton. Yes, actors hype up their movies, but he doesn't normally do that.
Yeah.
So, with his partnership with, do you take this as what do you take this? Is this someone hyping up their movie?
I think I don't have a memory of him, what he said about the Flash movie. So I don't know if he was hyping up the Flash movie, and we saw how that turned out by people's opinions on the film and the box office and what have you. So I don't know if he's doing a James Cameron here, but I agree with you. I think Keaton is one of these people, for better or worse, that speaks his mind, and you'll get his honest opinion. So he may be delivering his honest opinion here. I'm gonna go on that side that he is. And some people may not agree with it when they see the movie, but it doesn't mean he didn't deliver his honest opinion. And so that's what I think you can always bank on that from Michael Keaton. He just has that vibe. You know?
Well, look, this movie has been
excited. Be like
this. It is. They weren't lying about it. It's been worked. You know, this movie has been in development. At least from let's get it done for at least 10 years, at least. And I can tell you that because schmoesknow.com broke the story. If you Google schmoesknow.com, Beetlejuice 2, we broke the story that they were working on another, and that's when we were running a website. That's how long ago that was.
Right.
And that's before that's how I think that's one of the reports that got. Do you know the famous story with with Snyder and I and how all that, like the
You guys get mad at each other?
he got mad. I didn't get mad at him. I didn't
I
even know
know
who he
you
was.
don't get mad at people.
Yeah. And so when it was 2014.
Okay.
So I was getting emails from somebody who was giving me very accurate. We did we knew the Magnificent Seven was coming. We knew all this
Oh, wow.
stuff was coming. We knew all this. I was getting really good tips at the time.
Nice.
And very accurate ones from someone very tied into the business that I was getting stuff.
Yeah.
And I got this thing that Beetlejuice was coming. I was like, well, I said, Riley, write it up, because we just shows you, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't check with anybody. We didn't check if it was with any studio heads or anything too. We said, oh, really? Okay, run it. We didn't know. And the trades were getting furious at us because this is stuff that, how it goes. They were they're chasing these stories and these leads for a bit. And then who the hell's this?
Yeah.
So Snyder's like, who are these idiots? Like, who are them? There's some morons in their basement in Kansas. Who knows where they're in Philly? Who knows? And what are they doing? And I saw him start coming after us. And it was for a bit. And then I said to my friend Toby, who we had mutual friends, I looked at Facebook and said, who's mutual friends with this freaking guy? And then Snyder and I went to get pizza together. And I said, dude, let's talk about this because this is silly. And then we did, and that was it. That was the end of it.
Yeah,
but,
Jeff leads with his emotions, but he's also rational when you finally sit down and talk with him, and so that's always a credit to Jeff. And no surprise, but Jeff is always like that. But nowadays, I've seen him at Collider and other places when new sites pop up. Jeff is always willing now, and maybe because of the experience with you,
he's
always willing now to talk with them and guide them. And he's never like, "Don't do it," or
the business has changed dramatically.
He's much more helpful. Yeah.
Well, dude, the business has changed dramatically in 10 years. Dramatically, from where there were no the same thing, YouTube channels and all that. Because when I started Meet the Movie Press and put him on that show, he didn't want to break stories on that show. He didn't want.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. But he didn't want to break stories on that show. He didn't want to do it because he was working at I don't know where he was at, whether he was at Variety, wherever he was, but he just couldn't do it. And things just change. Things change. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's the majority of it, man. When it comes to Beetlejuice 2, let me just finish up with that. Because that was the whole point of that story. Is that Beetlejuice 2 has been in production for a very long time. And I think that Tim Burton is going to put his heart and soul into it. I will say that the best thing that I saw him do recently was Wednesday. I think that when is Wednesday season 2? Is that this year? It is, right?
I think it is this year. They've been shooting it since last year.
I feel like it is. And let me see, because this is actually partial to my reasoning here. But Wednesday season 2 premiere date. It says Wednesday will be moving. Let's see. I don't see anything yet.
It looks like early to mid 2025 because of the strikes.
Then never mind. Well, because what I was going to say is that basically what they would be able to do is put it out in September, right? Build even more hype off of Jenna Ortega, and then fire into it. But she's a big enough star too that you're going to get people. You're going to get the people like my daughter in there to want to see it and all this stuff. So, and don't discount the fans of the musical also that are going to come see this thing. So I think it does really well. I think it has it's October. It's a good time for that movie to come out. Yeah. I think it does fairly well.
Agreed.
All right. Agreed. Okay, we're going to get to your questions, guys, because I'm excited. You guys have put a lot of great questions in there, and we're going to do that, and we're going to get it to all of them into the last one here. And before we do it, I'm really pumped up because in the beginning, I just saw that the freaking pandemic is 4 years now, right? And all that stuff where we started SEN, we started all these different things. And during that time, right as I was starting the big thing, I was introduced to AG1. And we've been with them for so long, and they're so wonderful. I love them. And then recently, because I told you, John, I lost almost 20 pounds. Yeah. And it's because I've been eating better, and it's because I've been doing my vitamins. And I have AG1 and Factor to thank for that. And I'll tell you about both of them right now. All right, guys, let's talk about AG1. You guys know I love AG1. If you've been listening to my show, you've heard me talk about them, and I've been drinking them for about 2 years now, and I love it. Never been a vitamins guy. I've told you that. take it all one shot, AG1. I put it in a water bottle. I shake it up. I'm good to go. I recommend AG1 to my friends. I recommend AG1 to my family. Everybody. AG1 is a team of doctors and scientists. It is tested for 950 contaminants and NSF certified for sport. It is formulated based on the latest science and maintains high quality standards. You guys know they've been with us for a while because you guys know too. You've all been checking them out, and everybody who's been signing up to AG1 says the same thing. It's changed your energy. It's changed how you approach things in the day. You're smiling more. You're running around the place, and you're sleeping better. I know. AG1 is the supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. And that's why they've been a partner for so long. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. Check it out. Excited to talk to you guys about Factor, man. You know, it's not always easy to eat better, but it is with Factor. Because they have delicious, ready-to-eat meals. It's every one of them it's fresh. It's never frozen. It is chef-crafted. It's dietitian approved, and it's ready to go. This is the best part: 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from each week, whether it's Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, all of it. And there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day. What are you waiting for? 2-minute meals, and there's a lot of great stuff: pancakes, smoothies. There's no prep. There's no mess meals. It's flexible for your schedule. Factor is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, premium options with no cooking required. You just sign up and you save. You head to factormeals.com/bigthing50, but you got to use that code, bigthing50. And what happens when you use bigthing50? You get 50% off. That's bigthing50 at factormeals.com/bigthing50. And you get 50% off. All right. Thank you to our friends over at AG1 and Factor. I'm really pumped to have them. I really am. I'm telling you, it's helped me out. And I saw people in the comments saying that it's helped them out too. And that was another one I got this weekend saying they got an AG1 subscription, and now now you can go and you can check out Factor also. John, you said, which one did you say you were getting? You say you were getting AG1 or Factor?
Yeah, AG1. That's what I'm working on right now.
Oh,
as soon as you start watching Shogun, I'm going to sign up.
That's fair. That's fair. Although I think that one of us will benefit more doing one thing than the other. Okay, so tons of questions. And again, I'm going to give props to Ed Harrell, our longtime listener, who gave me the idea to say, like, hey, listen, man, put your stream available on the weekends because it gives the people opportunity who are not going to be able to be there to ask you guys questions. And exactly what I did. And he was exactly right. People threw in some questions from Saturday and Sunday when I made this thing live. I had to re-update the thumbnail because I asked John for a picture on Saturday. He gave it to me Sunday night.
You know what? The man is busy this weekend. There was a lot going on.
Well, we're joined by a legend, Hank Pym.
Hey.
I've been meaning to ask for a while, but what happened to the old Schmoes reviews? I used to always go back and watch them. Also, Rocha, you're the man.
Oh, thank you.
Hank Pym likes you. So thank you for asking about the reviews. They've been, for a while, the reviews have been private, and they still mostly are on the Schmodown channel. But we wanted to get the Schmodown channel in general up and running and Frank Janish has been really, got to give him all the props in the world. He's been maintaining that thing. It's like running the old WWE network. He's got to put everything up. There's all this different stuff. He's reorganizing the entire thing. So if you notice, the playlists are getting updated and there's new videos, like every single match, everything is there. So the old Schmoes reviews are going to, a lot of them are public. You just got to look for them. And there's going to be more. I'm going to make a playlist for it. The Schmoes Know live shows will only be available to patrons, but the reviews themselves, they're gradually, and how long it's going to take, I don't know, but gradually they're all going to be back up on the Schmodown channel. So there you go. Okay, let's keep going here. Yeah, so many. We got a lot of great questions there.
Yeah,
and a lot of Oscar questions. So I didn't notice that. I didn't see this, but Jonah Clore says, cool to see Tiffany Smith on the red carpet coverage. Now we need Finstock hosting the Oscars. I paid billions of dollars to watch that happen. Any plans for either of them on the big thing? Tiffany's been on before. She was on one-on-one during the pandemic. I have to have her back in. Tiffany Smith is one of my favorite people of all time.
100%.
one of the reasons, John, and I don't know the last time you spoke to her, but like she always sends me a text.
Yep.
She'll send me a text, whether it's, I haven't heard from her in 2 months, 3 months. She always sends a text, says, hey, just checking in. How you doing? She's just the pure definition of a good person.
100%, man. She's a great follow on social media.
Yeah.
And you're right. Same thing. Every few months, I'll get a text from her thinking about you, saw this, reminding me of you, checking in, seeing how you're doing. And remember, and Kristian might not remember this, but like when I started out, Kristian is the one who walked me through the door. And then Kristian went to take another opportunity, left the Star Wars show. I couldn't have asked for a better person to guide me into this business than Tiffany Smith.
Mm-hmm.
She was so gracious to me. She was so incredible in teaching me the business and learning how to put shows together. And she always brought me free DC comics at the time when she was working. And so I've always been nothing but complimentary and grateful to her. And seeing her explode has been amazing.
Yeah, I didn't see her. I missed her. I missed her on the carpet. Did you see her on the carpet?
Yeah, I watched her on the carpet for an hour.
What was she? Which one was she? Was she on?
She was for E. She was doing it for E.
Okay, because I just didn't see any of the pre-show, so I probably would have seen her. Good. She deserves to. She's the best.
Yeah.
As far as having them on the show, Finstock, look, I've been trying to get Finstock on this show. The guy's like golfing right now. He's golfing right now. I guarantee you, he's golfing. I don't know what he's doing. The only time I can get a response to him is when I text him something about Stallone. That's the only time I get it.
He's on an oil rig, like Armageddon 2 and shit. That's what he's
so the plans, sure. Realistic, don't know. Ronetta, W. American Fiction. After he won the BAFTA, I had a feeling. I'm so happy for Cord. Truly deserving, and what a great speech. Well done. Not all movies have to be made for 200 mil. Well said. Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah.
It was the best. Like, I'm like, yes, but the problem is this. No studio head is listening to that.
Of course not.
Because they just think, oh, there's a bunch of creatives that don't get it.
Yeah.
And the only way that you kind of cross your fingers and hope that they get it is because they're seeing their returns are not coming back the way that they want them to.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at the Kung Fu. Look at Kung Fu Fanda. Kung Fu Fanda is a perfect example, though, of the studio going, let's cut it. Let's cut it down. We don't need, even though Awkwafina has played this role in animation 87 times this year.
I feel like she's going from one booth to the next booth in the same building and just recording.
It's the same role. She does the same role in every animated film that she's in. Like, there are other people you can get an Awkwafina to do voices for this the wisecracking sidekick. It's like it's taking away. It takes me out of it now because I'm like, oh, there's Awkwafina again.
I agree with you.
I like her.
Yeah,
I like Awkwafina.
Nora from Queens is a great show. She's awesome on that show.
Yeah. Benny, what are your top favorite Hans Zimmer scores? That's always so hard to do the top 5 questions when they come in. I'll just give you like Inception, like Time is really good. The new Dune theme, the last couple, the love theme that he's got from Dune is incredible. I have to go through all of them. Like top 5 is really hard for me to do. The Dark Knight, I mean, there's just I want to look at his resume and then go that. I mean, it's hard to do a top 5.
Dark Knight, Man of Steel, Pirates of the Caribbean,
nice.
And the Dune stuff right now, right off the bat. That's what you get for $2.
Perfect. Benny, again, it's just $4 really if you look at it. John, what are who's your favorite soccer player of all time?
Let me see if I can.
Keira Knightley. No.
My favorite soccer player of all time is
that doesn't work.
Messi.
No. All right. There's Penny again. Thoughts on Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America? Have you ever seen it? I think it's a masterpiece. It's a crime what that film went through. You know, I've never seen that movie.
Really?
No,
yeah, the last Sergio Leone epic. Yeah, I love the movie. I don't like the ending.
Yeah.
James Woods is good. De Niro is good. Elizabeth McGovern is good. But it doesn't have quite the same magic as like The Godfather. So it suffered by comparison coming out so close around that time. So
it's pretty crazy that I haven't seen that movie.
It's 3 hours, man. Strap in.
All right. Carlton Rudder, a huge thanks to John for his superb watch along with the Oscars. Thanks, Kristian, for Magic Spoon. It was my fuel during the night here in UK. I'm getting a lot of people that have been signing up for Magic Spoon, and I love it because I fired through a whole bowl of it the other day when I was like, I need some protein, man. And I was like working in here and I just fired down a bowl of cereal and it was Magic Spoon is the bomb. So I'm glad. But yeah, dude, so
Carlton said he had 4 bowls of it during the watch. So he loves it. He loves it.
And you're streaming pretty well?
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, I didn't do any time stamps yet. I'll do that after we're done with the show. Because honestly, dude, once you do a 3.5 hour
it's hard
fucking live stream, the last thing I want to do is go back and rewatch it and put timestamps. So I gave myself a break last night. Hung out with the lady.
That's what it is. It's like we both, you and I, we'd work for each other. You know, it's like you work for yourself, and it's like when you're doing that, it's like people with this timestamps. It's like, listen, if I have the time to do it, I do it. If I don't,
you fucking do it. Watch the show.
People do put there are people who do that.
Great. I would love
one guy's been doing it with AI that it doesn't. Like, I mean, you can't. It doesn't. Then he puts it in the comments. I'm like, it doesn't work because because they want me to cut and paste it and put it in the description. It doesn't register, and I still have to do all the work because I got to move all the stupid things that the AI creates. And I'm like, I can't. It doesn't work. There's one guy that was doing it for a bit, and I'll cut and paste it. But I like to do it for myself. Like when it's harder to do it on this show because we're live. You know, so when someone does it, I usually put it back in. But I understand the importance of time stamps. And here's another little trick for you, everybody, for people who want to do YouTube videos. Timestamps are very helpful for the algorithm because you're putting more keywords in there when you're doing the algorithm. So when you're talking about certain things and you're putting your time codes in there, it is beneficial for us to do time codes also. So it's not that we don't want to do them. It's just time.
It's exhausting.
Carlton Rudder. Blunt and Gosling honored the unsung heroes of stunt performers. Yeah, surely the Academy has to create this category now. Nice promo for the Fall Guy. Yeah, there was a few of those that I thought was pretty good. That but I did like that, and I thought for Fall Guy that was a good way to do that. Yeah,
and I'm sure it's coming. I mean, they just did the casting thing, which they announced, so we'll get the stunt very soon. Louis Tan tweeted about it as well. Very like, it's ridiculous that we only get 2 minutes, and you totally respect that. So let's make it happen. I'm sure it will happen soon.
Yeah. Okay. Ralph.
Hey,
my eyes see Oppenheimer. It's hard to watch New Hope without thinking of Dune. No spoilers, but wait until you watch Dune Messiah and see 2 major plot points that Lucas stole for the prequels. When does borrowing become stealing? I think that there's, there's ideas and notions and little plot points here and there you'll see in every movie. Like you can watch a movie and go, oh, that's just like when this happened. And even when people are pitching movies, they're like, oh yeah, it's kind of like we're gonna do this scene where De Niro's gonna walk in and it'll be very similar to what Nolan did in this one, and we'll do that. That happens all the time. And there is a good question in there of like, well, how much of it is just essentially the same movie as opposed to a same scene or same deal. And then you look at like stand-up comedy, like there's times that you can do like I'll give you a perfect example. I have a joke that I talk about with my now 6-year-old about how the Silvio Dante thing where she's like a soprano. And when I was doing this joke and I was writing the joke, I'm like, yeah, because she's like a little gangster. And I was like, well, my buddy Steve Simone has a gangster joke about kids. And I don't want him to feel like it's going to be in the same neighborhood. So I called him. And I called Steve and I said, look, this is my joke that I'm doing about my daughter. And it's within the same neighborhood. And he goes, it's completely different because you are basically giving a characterization to her and doing that. And we had a long conversation about it, but he's like, you have my full blessing to do it on stage. And like, and Steve's one of my really good friends. So I was like, made sure right away. I'm like, I'm going to call him and see. Because I would tell you right now, if he's like, yeah, it's too close to my bit, don't do it. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it.
Out of respect.
Yeah. It was just like, and I love that joke, but if he would have felt that way, but he didn't. And I felt, and that's why I called him, because I didn't feel like it was in there. But that's the things you got to worry about. Then you look at like Carlos Mencia with the stuff that he did with the Cosby stuff and Ari Shafir's jokes. And it's just like, that's not in the same neighborhood. That's the same house.
It's like the Supreme Court said about pornography. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it in terms of stealing and borrowing, right? And look, people now 47 years later are getting upset about Star Wars and George Lucas. And it took a great adaptation of Dune for people to be like, wait a minute. Look, I get it. You're upset. But look, you're not going to take away the effect of Star Wars on people.
Is that happening a lot?
Yeah, people are starting to talk about it on social media. Like, what the fuck? Lucas stole this. Lucas stole that. The spice. Why did he change the spice? And it's like, look, he did what he did. Frank Herbert reportedly pursued suing him, but
Oh,
didn't
really?
see didn't see the logic in it and didn't think he was going to win.
Huh.
So just went ahead and kept doing his thing. And look, people are going to steal, people are going to borrow. It's all a matter of, because look, you can accuse Tarantino of stealing, for fuck's sake. A lot of his films are influenced by those 70s exploitation films.
Or the Kung Fu films.
It's how you do it, right?
Yeah.
The Kung Fu films.
Yeah.
But it's how you do it. And clearly, Lucas did it really well enough to create a whole massive franchise out of it.
Yeah, I'm not going down that route. And I'm someone, I got no shame in saying that. So the Galaxy Geeks posted this poll the other day. It's like, are you more of a Dune fan than a Star Wars fan? And I was like, are we talking about right now? We're talking about today. I'll tell you right now, Dune, all day long. They're doing it better. It's a better product. It's only one movie. Yeah. It's only two movies. It's only two movies as opposed to everything else that Star Wars is trying to do. Yeah. Does Star Wars have the potential to turn around because they have so much ammo? Absolutely they do. Yeah. But right now, if you had said, well, you can watch any one of the new Star Wars things that came out or Dune 1 and 2, I'd have a tough time with Andor, but I'd probably still take Dune 1 and 2.
Well, and here's the deal. If we keep going with these books, all these people who are crowing about Dune are going to have some real come to Jesus moments when we find out what happens to Paul Atreides' kids and the decisions they make. I'm just throwing it out there. It gets freaky, is what I'm saying.
Hey, Ralph, my I see Oppenheimer. Every time he shows up, I'm going to say that. Lucas never acknowledged Dune. I did my research and couldn't find anything where he talks about it and avoids it like Filoni avoids Andor. Thank you for saying that, Ralph. Finally, someone on my side. In 1977, well, he brought it up once on Star Wars Celebration when he had to. It's the worst. It's the worst. Look, you look at this footage when he brings it up. He had to. In the 1977 press interview, when asked if Dune was inspiration, Lucas declined to comment. Wow.
Probably legally. They probably told him don't say a damn word about it. So
that's crazy.
They couldn't.
Ralph, my I see Oppenheimer. Frank Herbert saw 16 points that were in A New Hope that were identity of Dune. That is from his son Brian Herbert. Anyway, sorry if it sounded like I'm talking trash about Star Wars. No, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. And look, it's a story for sure. And but as Rocha said, Dune right now is stealing the spotlight, and Dune is coming up there, and look, Dune is more adult friendly and Star Wars pop because it's more kid friendly as well. Yeah. Mike's Movie Madness coming in hot. I love that the Oscars honor old Hollywood, but my God, they need to stop letting them give out Best Picture. I love Pacino, but that was too Pacino. Yeah, I love Pacino, but that was an awful moment to a good show.
Yes. Damn it.
It was so bad to end the show.
Yeah. Like a terrible post-credit scene. You're like, oh no, I was having such a good time.
It's like my dad fiddling with the remote to figure out how to turn HBO Max on. It's like, what is this? Where's it go? Is it Max? Is it what? Oh, come on! You just turn it on. What? Oh, forget it. That's really what it was. Josh Needle. Haven't watched the Oscars in years. Nothing but a celebrity circle jerk show. The boring house needs a total overhaul. Wish they would take some inspiration from the Game Awards, but that's just me. Listen, before that though, before he didn't watch it. Yeah. I would have, if that comment would have come in and he would have said, I don't want to watch it because this, like, yeah, you're right. All these things. I just thought it was structured very differently this year, and I thought it flowed a lot better. The celebrity, again, I'm going to push back on the celebrity jerk thing. That's the whole point of as long as they're celebrating movies and celebrating performances, I use the wrestling analogy. It's the same thing. If you're a fan of it, that's why you're watching it.
Yeah, you're a better person than me because I'll get angry about this, and I'll just say this: that it's such a stupid thing to say because that is a place that we've all these actors have influenced your fucking lives. All of you quoting fucking Scarface, all of you quoting this stuff or talking about your favorite scenes in movies. These are all actors, okay? And so you love them, and one night a year for a whopping 3 to 4 hours, they get to talk about the stuff that they worked really hard to create and hope that you liked, and that's fucking K. You guys will live. Get over. I don't know if people get so mad about this stuff. Well, my saying about when it goes too far. I totally understand.
That's my pushback on it. My pushback is as long as they're actually celebrating. I mean, you're watching. the reason you're tuning into the awards, if you are,
Yeah.
but he might be saying in general, though, which is fair. I don't watch these things and I don't care about people celebrating themselves, so I never watch it.
Right.
But if you're like, well, I don't watch it because I was tuning in to watch this and that's all it is. Well,
Right.
yeah, that's what it is.
But-
But if you don't like it because of that, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, but what you're doing is conveniently ignoring how many people who win awards for the first time,
Yeah.
how many people
I
from
mean,
different
right.
cultures get recognized for the 1st
Mhm.
time, and it's really meaningful to them, and they inspire other people to create films that are going to
Sure.
move you,
Sure.
including Mr. Hate Circle Jerk people, to do something in your life. So you just never know, and the disrespect towards that thing just drives me insane. It's like one night for 3-4 hours. Like,
I
relax.
do think that's another reason why it needs to be on streaming because if you say
Yeah, I
it,
agree. I've seen that for years too. Yeah.
because it's like, look, it's on Netflix. I didn't tune into it because it's just not my thing.
Hmm.
Like, I think that's a better way to ultimately kind of go about it. But
Yeah.
all right. So Tim Sim.
Yeah.
What up, Tim? What I learned last night from Rocha's Oscars watch along, it's indeed rare for a masterpiece to win 10 Oscars or more.
Yeah.
And winning at least one is great, especially for Oppenheimer 7. Where will Nolan go next? Who knows? Whatever the answer to that, Tim, is wherever he wants to. Wherever he
Now?
wants.
Yes.
He wants to make a movie about 7-Eleven. People are going to watch it.
Right.
You know, nothing at 7-Eleven. But but I think that it won 7. Is that what it won?
7 out of its, I think it was nominated for 13.
Okay.
7 out of its 13. Yeah. But still it won the most awards of the night.
lot.
So,
So it won a lot.
Yeah.
And I love that American Fiction got some love.
Yes.
Barbie won at least one with the song.
Yeah, best song.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, and I told you though when we were talking months ago, there was no chance Barbie was going to get anywhere near winning awards. The fact
I know
that
you and Jeff were thinking that. I didn't know it was going to happen because of that film, and people thought it had a really powerful effect. But clearly, the Academy felt differently about that movie, bro. I mean, adapted screenplay was its best opportunity, and it got beat by a foreign film.
Even then, adapted screenplay what was it really adapted from? A toy?
Right. That's what they claim. That's the rules of the Academy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't win that award for adapted screenplay because adapted screenplay it's essentially an original screenplay. It's like if you go, well,
it's totally
so someone created a doll is what it looks like. So if someone created a doll of me, holding a microphone, and I made a movie about me with the microphone, it's adapted screenplay because it was based off of that doll.
Yeah,
that's silly.
I agree. I think it's ridiculous.
It's the best original screenplay.
Original.
What it was. Yeah, it wasn't like books and comics and things of that nature, but come on.
Yeah.
All right, next one. And thank you, Tim, by the way. Love Tim. Korean Empire, excuse me, Emperor. I went from sad to mad that Lily Gladstone didn't win. Emma was amazing and deserved it. My butt is that who knows when or even if Lily will get another great role. Yeah, listen, that's the problem with that is you think that Emma was great.
Yeah.
And it goes back to like people getting legacy awards.
Yep.
What the award should be is vote for who you thought was the best.
Right.
That's it. And my wife asked me, she goes, who do you think should win? And I said, it's either Lily or Emma. And then when Emma won, she goes, do you think that she should have? And I go, yeah. And I think the reason why is as great as I do think that she is the lead actress in that film. It's not by definition, she doesn't have, because it's one of Rocha's biggest criticism with the films.
Yep.
She's in bed for 45 minutes of the film.
Yeah. I look, you guys know, I'll be the first one on the front lines when I think something is being done wrong that I think is racist or has hints of racism. This is not the case. Okay. Emma Stone delivered an incredible form. By the way, it's on Hulu now. You can watch Poor Things if you guys haven't watched it and see what she delivers in this film. And we should not be giving awards to people just to be like, well, we don't know when they're ever going to win again. That's not the Academy's job.
Right.
The Academy's job is to look at these. And by the way, this is the most diverse Academy membership ever. The most women who've been a part of the Academy, higher percentages this year than ever. So at the end of the day, they felt Emma's performance, because she's in 95% of the fucking movie, was of more value than Lily, who Scorsese screwed by putting in bed for 45 minutes of the film. And it's not about like we should be doing this. That's nonsense. It's absolutely about now that we've got a more diverse voting body, it's absolutely about who is the best. Now, in the past, do I think there was racism involved or unconscious racism? Yes, because it was an overall, almost all majority white old men voting. Now we're much more diverse. So these claims, I think, have less and less validity.
Right. And I think that it brings validity to the awards, and not this particular award in general, but in general, that this is the process. It brings validity to the process. It's like, no, who did you really believe was the best? Yeah. And that brings validity to it. And I would have been okay with either one of them winning, but do I think Emma Stone deserved it? I do. I think she was phenomenal in that role. I think she was phenomenal. And the only person I would have liked to seen win, even though I love that Downey won, was Ruffalo, because no one has made me laugh that in a movie. I belly laughing in my to the point where I was going to wake up my little one and I didn't care. Belly laughing.
Yeah. And by the way, I think Carey Mulligan was better than Lily and Emma in Maestro.
It's going to be hard to argue with you on that.
Right. She was incredible in that movie. But people were voting for Emma or voting for Lily and forgot because people didn't like Maestro or was split. Carey got screwed by that. She was incredible in that film.
It's so funny you say that, man, because after I saw that performance, I was like, you know what? Might be a new contender in town. But then she started losing everything. Yeah. And so last night, I even forgot she was nominated. And when she was not, when they brought her up, I'm like, oh my God, she's probably my favorite performance. But I just knew she wasn't going to win. Like if it would have been like, that she was so good in that role. She stole that movie from Bradley, hands down.
100%. Yeah. Oh God.
Tim's back. And speaking of if Oscars should take inspiration from the Game Awards, it's a horrible idea. It means too many world premiere trailers to take high priority and less time for the awards to recognize the winners. That's fair.
It wasn't Pacino at the Game Awards and did the same thing, fumbled the ball and presenting the thing. So why are they just comparing it to an award show where Pacino did the same thing?
He did. What was he doing at the Game Awards? Last night, I get it, but like, it's like when you have that, like you said, I guess when they just had Al do it.
Yeah.
He's a legend. Put him up there. It's like, Al ain't in the spotlight as much anymore. Al's got to be what, 82 years old?
And how many gamers are like, oh, Al Pacino?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Mike Joyce. I like the past winners. Speaking about the nominees more than the clips, what do you prefer? I liked it. I dug it. I think that because it goes back to the wrestling mentality of mine. Like if there was like a presentation and it was like Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock, and like presenting someone an award, I'd be like, that's freaking cool. If this is the business that you like and this is the industry that you like, and to honor past performances. And it also, what it does too, is gives you an idea of like, oh, Shawshank, I haven't watched that in a while. I'm gonna go watch that. There's Tim.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did dig it. I'm agreeing with Rocha on that one.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, not many better Oscar moments than Schwarzenegger and DeVito versus Keaton. I should watch Twins. Have you never seen it? Oh my God, I watched Twins recently. Again, so good. So good.
Late great Kelly Preston, man.
Oh man, you don't say it. Don't say it. Matt B. Not one, but two jokes at Madam Web's expense. We didn't talk about that. Right. Will the public humiliation be enough for Sony to change their ways? My money is on no. I would bet with you on that. No, they won't change it. It's too silly, and they probably think that was good publicity for them. Although even though we didn't talk about Mulaney.
That was great.
That Field of Dreams thing was awesome.
Yeah,
that is a comedian who knows what he does, and there's a skill set in there because you could feel like as a comic, as I'm watching it and I'm going, I know exactly what he's doing right now. He's building on that moment, because when you're sitting in there, you're like, oh, okay, he's talking about Field of Dreams. He's still talking about Field of Dreams. He's still talking about Field of Dreams. Oh, he's going to do the whole synopsis of Field of Dreams. So and it was so great, especially if you know Field of Dreams.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I loved that moment. But then, he took a shot at Madam Web. And even though technically that line actually wasn't in the movie. But either way, but I loved that they took two cracks on Madam Web. But no, Sony won't change their ways.
I love that he called a name dropped Timothy Busfield and Gabby Hoffman. So I thought that was awesome.
Great.
Have him name call him. But then the other, or name drop them. But yes, you're right. Because if Venom 3 and Craven come out and do good blockbusters, Sony ain't going to be listening to any of us about Madam Web.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Let me see. I'm going to keep going here. So yeah, Madam Webb, and again, thank you guys, everybody who's putting in. I see more questions coming in, so we're going to get to all of them. The Dart 005. Sorry, Rocha, but Man City will win. Manchester City, is that what it is? Will win it again this year, and happy that Godzilla took home his first Oscar. Is that the first Oscar that Godzilla's ever won?
Yes, 70 years. It's been waiting, and just turned 70 a few days ago, and now it's won an Oscar. So congratulations to Godzilla.
Love that. It was so good. James LeVar, thank you, James. Wow. Very, very kind super chat here. Thank you, my friend. That's awesome. Godzilla -1 for the win. Will miss the old SEN Schmodown days. Yeah, but I like Kylo Ren says, let the past die. Let it die. Yeah, but you can go the old Schmodown days. The problem with SEN, as much as like there was there's a good vibe with SEN when it came to when we were on a roll, but the problem is in order to keep that show succeeding, like to pay everybody was that fucking robot.
Yeah.
And it just, I remember listening. It was one of the reasons I started Big Thing is that I was driving the car and I was like listening to the show that I wasn't on. I was listening to you guys and it just kept interrupting. And I was like, well, we need it because we got to pay everybody in order. And we work for Skybound. We're like, we got to do this. But I'm like, it just became, it almost felt like a telethon at one point. I'm like, and I'm like, if we could do that kind of vibe just now, knowing what I do now and how this is, it's like we could, but I also don't, this is the only live show I do. Is Mondays, and I
appreciate,
but I'm mentally better because of it.
Yeah,
that I only do one. But Schmodown, you can watch the entire library. It's all on the Schmodown channel. All of it. I did say that one. There's like I think that it's once we get to 10,000 patrons, I will put on a free for all live with no charging for any tickets. Like I'll put on a full free for all.
What are you talking about? Are you saying you're trying to bring back the legacy players to play?
I would bring back. Whoever wanted to perform. I would if I get to 10,000 patrons a month, I would put on a full on. I will rent the theater. I won't charge tickets. It'll be first come first serve, and I'll do a full free for all. And I'll get people in it involved and we'll but we gotta reach we're a long way away.
Well, you need to give
about 9,700 patrons away.
9,700 you who are watching, go and subscribe, go be patrons, right? Because I want a rematch with Dan. We're 1-1 now. I want the rubber match with me and Dan. I can't shake that.
That's not a free for all, you idiot.
I don't care. I'm gonna make it happen.
All right, here's the next one. Sunday Joe, one of the best Oscar shows in years. Classy and entertaining for most of the show. So happy for Randolph's win, and her speech was powerful.
Oh yeah,
her speech was great.
Beautiful.
Her speech was great.
Thanked no one to do with the movie, but who cares? It was still a beautiful speech. It was her time.
Yeah. John Brovina, did Al Pacino announce Best Pick too soon? Yeah, you didn't even read the nominees.
That's how people try to explain it, going like, well, we saw the nominees all night. That's not how it works. You have to list all the nominees, then say the winner.
I think he wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah, 100%.
He's an 82-year-old with a newborn. Never lose your nerd. Godzilla -1 is the GOAT. So awesome for them. I audibly cheered out loud when they won.
I hate that they played them off, man.
I know. Well, that's the reason why I stuck to time.
Yeah.
Jim 1 missed opportunity to have a special achievement in stunts award to Mission Impossible or John Wick, similar to Toy Story getting the first animated Oscar. Well, they're moving up to stuff, doing the casting thing. They're doing some other things. Oh, you know what I loved, by the way?
Go ahead.
And I wouldn't have. I was sitting there. We watched because my 12-year-old was watching majority of the awards with us last night.
Cool.
And the short documentary comes up, right? And so my daughter plays the cello, and so she was watching. She goes, I know that. She's like, I know that one before it won. She's like, we just watched it in class. She's like, it actually inspired me to want to do better in a cello. She's like, I hope it wins. And then it won.
Repair Shop. That's the film. Yeah.
And she loved it. She loved it. So,
such a good film.
Great St. Clair. I loved how they did visual effects and makeup award. Yeah, me too. I thought that was they added some new stuff to it. I think it was they made it more of a show. It felt like a show and not like a ball presentation. Yes. And they didn't have the Academy president come out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they listened. And now John Lewis coming out to talk about time to go get snacks and make a whole bowl of nachos while this guy talks about bullshit.
Yeah, they had her in the aisleway where people were after Billy had won the Oscar, and then she was talking about the legacy stuff, and so they came in at the same time. So it was a nice mix. She wasn't on there too long.
So maybe I fast forwarded. She did come out. I fast forwarded through it. Though.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Fast forward.
She didn't come out on the stage. It was right in that
right there.
walkway
Perfect
area.
I didn't even realize it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Joyce missed game time. Thoughts on DeAndre Swift going to Bears and Wilson to the Steelers? He's not doing game time anymore.
Yeah, we don't. Well, because we just like to cover NFL.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fine. That's good for Swift. Lions weren't using him properly, and they like other guys, so makes sense. And Russell, the Steelers, I think is a train wreck. I think it's like Donovan McNabb going to the Redskins way back when we were called that, and so it's going to be a train wreck in Pittsburgh for sure. Yeah. Guy is shot.
Murphy-Durf. If there was true Academy racism, Gladstone wouldn't have even been nominated. There are winners and losers, just like Emmer's performance more. Yeah, I mean, like again, I think John made really great points when he was talking about how that works now and how they have changed things up. So, yeah, I thought everybody who won for the most part is pretty predictable. There weren't any really shockers. And by the way, the big shocker, not big shocker, but we're like, oh, interesting, was American Fiction.
Yeah, that was so great.
So there you go. From River to Sea, greetings. Thoughts on Jonathan Glazer's acceptance speech, political statement. Which one was that?
He won for Zone of Interest. And listen, we are not the show to talk about that. So I don't think we should touch it.
I didn't even watch it, so I don't think I could talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't want to. I'm staying away from all of that. So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm okay. So I didn't see any of it, so I can't speak on it because I didn't watch that speech. Because I didn't see the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't see the movie. That one was too hard for me to watch. Okay. The action is the Jews. Great show. Unfortunate thing about Lily not winning is Emma will not have more shots, and Lily most likely won't. Oh, Emma will have more shots, and Lily won't. Look at Yalitza, for example, 1 Asian woman, 1 black woman, and 77 white women. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand, but I think it goes back to exactly what we were talking about before, is that it shouldn't be, well, she might not get nominated again. Because if that's the case,
job.
But if that's the case, then Stallone should have beaten Rylance.
Mark Rylance. Right.
Because Stallone ain't getting another shot anytime soon. So if everybody's like, well, they might not get a shot again, then you're tainting these awards. I
also think there's an inherent insult in here that somehow Lily won't be able to book big roles or won't be able to. She's already leading another feature film. She's going to be in a TV series that's coming out very soon. People know she's talented and she's young. There will be roles for Lily Gladstone. Everyone needs to relax and stop thinking it's 1977 here in 2024. It's a way different time now. And there's much more Native American stuff out there. There's much more people of color and people from Native American places who are appearing in these shows. So please, there's going to be opportunity for Lily. She's a good damn actress, so she'll be fine.
Good point. Paige, what's up, Paige? Paige Chaudhry. I am a Texan. I saw Capes and Cows. It was funny, and we bust balls just like everyone else. Meeting both y'all in Houston was a joy. Oscars was a return to class. Thoughts? Do you think that Avatar 3 will be another $2 billion? Maybe.
I say yes. I'm never doubting James Cameron again.
You're not getting my bet on that one.
Okay.
You're not getting my bet on that one. Yeah. I wouldn't get close. I wouldn't get close to that because that's a movie like that is the definition of theater experience.
Yep.
Definition of theater experience. And because 2 was even better than the first, in my opinion, it left us going, what's next? So could it make $2 billion? Yes. And theater prices will probably be even up a little bit more at that point. Yeah. So yeah, I think so. Look at him, son of a bitch. My favorite. He's called him son of a bitch twice, John. Called him son of a bitch twice.
It was perfect.
So good. So good. What a turn of events of like when you looked at half the stuff they did last night, you would have been shut down in the 70s for doing any of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Walking around, this hog hanging out, you got freaking all that stuff. It's crazy. Mad Sinister McCall, favorite horror movie. Oh, horror movie killer and why? Can I go to the show on that one? I guess he says movie though. I would say Dexter because I like the way that they played, I like the vigilante aspect of it. Or horror movie killer, or maybe this means like slasher. I'd probably say Freddy because Freddy's got jokes.
Freddy's got jokes.
Fresh meat. So I'll probably go Freddy.
Your show is canceled. No, I Jason Voorhees always. I mean, maybe not in the most recent iterations, but the original Carpenter Voorhees is my man.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to agree with this next statement. I think you are too.
Mm.
K-Dog Westmore, I love the Oscars, but Iron Claw deserved nominations. Yeah. I'm with you, man. I don't know why did that get shut out so much?
A24, terrible rollout, terrible decision to not put it at festivals. Terrible. The whole blame is on the distributor and creator of that.
Yeah,
film.
okay.
That's the whole blame. No one else is to blame but them.
I thought it was Zack Efron's best performance ever.
Yep.
I thought it was very well directed. There's a powerful story.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was. I'm with you on that. Not going to argue with you on that.
Watch him on Ricky Stenicki and then watch him on Iron Claw. He's a much better actor than.
Oh, Zach. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Sam O. Where does Oppenheimer rank as greatest Best Picture winner? That's hard, man. That's almost 100. That's almost 100 years of winners. I don't know. I mean, look, it's up to when a movie is that good when you walk out of the theater and you're like, it's going to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like I remember Brett and I, we saw it in the screening and we're like, that movie's winning Best Picture, right? Yeah, and it was July.
Yeah,
and then all the other movies hadn't even come out yet. It was like there was really, and The Holdovers was the only thing that came out. You're like maybe, but yeah. So I don't know about ranking, not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Town Matt 12. I'm gonna watch Dune 2 for a second time tomorrow with a friend who hasn't seen it yet. I'm super excited to watch the movie again to see the amazing performances from the cast. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Copied all that. Have you seen it a second time, John? You did, right?
I've seen it 3 times now.
Oh, 3 times.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't see Kung Fu Panda, because I went to go see it again. But I will definitely see it again this week. I'm trying to go see it in 70 millimeter. So I gotta find a theater near me that's showing it in 70 millimeter. And I might have to close to the border, which I don't like to do. So we'll see. All
right, I'm gonna put you in it's like your elimination chamber. When you remember Kevin Owens when he was slamming his head, this is John right now when I do this. Wade West, I don't watch shit I don't like. Watching Oscars because I like movies. Watch and Wine 2024 slogan for Pride Babies. So I know John's probably going to lose it on you. So I'm being nice to you here. I don't agree with that statement. I think actually it worked really, really well. I thought it moved well, and as I said, to reiterate what I was saying, I think that when you watch this particular show, you know that this is what the show is, but you're saying, I don't watch this stuff anyway. Fair enough. You, John, trying to break through the thing. All right, here you go. Josh Needle. Nothing wrong with artists.
Stop for a second.
I got this guy.
Go over to Starred. That's where all the super chats are. So you don't have to scroll down.
No. It leaves it out. It leaves some of them get left out.
Fair enough.
I've seen you miss questions because you do that.
How dare you?
That's right. Josh Needle. Something wrong with artists celebrating their work.
Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong. Sorry. Just sometimes comes off as pretentious and taking themselves too seriously. I agree with that. I think sometimes it does. I don't hate anyone. Just how it comes across. I agree. Glad to hear they've improved. So that's what he said before to clarify what he was saying. So I think that Josh makes a great point. And like I said to him before he watched it, that's how I felt about it. I think sometimes they take themselves so seriously in a way that it's like, oh, now let me preach to you. F you, I'm here to hear about your freaking movie about the dinosaur. And by the way, that Jurassic Park stuff that Kate McKinnon did was awesome.
Spielberg playing with it was great.
He played a few different times.
Twice. The Tasteful Nudes was hilarious. And the way he played with Jimmy Kimmel in these opening monologue was great.
He was great. Okay. So let's see. Next one here. I think we're almost done, John.
Yeah, look, you'll never get me to argue the actors aren't pretentious. They are pretentious. They can be for sure. So.
Right.
They're just like influencers, just like YouTube people.
Right.
And pretentiousness all over the place.
True. You always know you're doing a good stream when Butt Funnel comes in here. So thank you. Butt Funnel. Butt Funnel is becoming one of our regulars here. Thank you, Butt Funnel. I think we got here from Spanner.
Hey.
Spanner V. Love you guys. Thank you. Did you guys see the report about Sony calling out Dakota Johnson and saying it was her fault for trashing the movie? I saw that they were upset. Did they actually call her out? I saw that.
This is all reports from scoopers and people like that. So Sony did not officially come out and go against Dakota. It's just what some reporters are saying they've heard from sources and what have you. So, look, I wouldn't be surprised that they're upset about her. I mean, because clearly Dakota's blaming everyone else for how terrible the movie was, except herself, who delivered a brain dead performance. And so this is for her. This is brand saving. This is her PR team brand saving, because they blamed the executives, the studio, the writers. She hasn't blamed the director yet because she's a woman and won't do that. But this overall is like, come on, Dakota, take some fucking responsibility here. If the reports are true, because you still delivered a terrible performance, and that's one of the reasons people didn't like the movie.
Well, I mean, I don't think the reports are true. She's been trashing it. I mean, the reports are true there for sure.
I mean that they're upset. I mean, that's
I would tell you that they probably are, but like, if she also probably doesn't care and she doesn't want to work, you got to understand that you're not going to work with Sony or anybody else when you're doing that. So yeah, I think that. But this town, all she needs is another hit. No one's going to care.
Yeah.
Hit. Renee Reyes. What's up, Renee? Happy Monday, boys. Kristian, do you have any plans for doing a stand-up comedy show in the Bay Area? Ooh. So as we're building up the channel, man, it's like I told you, like live shows, and the show we did in New York last year was a great show, and we had so much fun. The problem is I lost my ass on that show because I had to, because it's the room seats like 120 people, right? Yeah. And in order to really try to make a profit on it, you got to do like 2 or 3 shows in a room like that. That's because I'm paying for flights, I'm paying for hotels, I'm paying for crew, I'm paying for all this stuff. Wow. And next thing you know, I'm out a significant amount of money. And it's like, you got to be able to sell out shows when you put the tickets up. And it's like, okay, I got 2 months to sell these tickets. You got to sell out within like 3 or 4 days. That to me knows, okay, I can add another show. And then it makes sense. We sold out the day of. And I'm like, it's just tough. So as we're building the audience out, especially in like San Francisco, I would love to do one in that area. I would love to do something around in the Bay Area, but like, it just, the audience has to build. I got to feel more confident again. Like my confidence is shot from like losing my ass in New York. All right, let's see. Next one. And this is from Corn Empire.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. It was about her future roles, not the Academy. It's not on them. It was my feelings for her future. Okay, that's fair. Also, I'm a Patreon, so Schmodown free for all. Thank you. I don't know if you just joined today, if you have been, but if you joined today, amazing. Join Patreon, and if we get to 10,000, not only will Brett skydive, which is another thing we're going to tape. We're going to do a free for all that will be free to everybody. So, okay, Phil P. Game time premium show needed for the run-in at Rocha.
10 people will watch. But you guys got to be. I love people suggesting stuff, but like, you got to know your audience, and you know how many people are going to watch, and the amount of effort I'm going to put in to watch 28 games. Like, it doesn't make sense. A weekend.
Yeah. Hank, I love anime, but Haran was not a good movie. An absolute mess.
Bullshit.
Oh, you liked it? I didn't see it.
I did. I love the movie. Bullshit.
Okay. And winning over Spider-Verse is the most ridiculous Oscar win ever, in my opinion.
Bullshit.
Wow. Okay, so Rocha doesn't agree with you on that one. I don't have enough to say on it because every time I went to watch it, I couldn't. Not that I didn't. Not that it was any good. I just never got a chance to watch it.
It's a good film. It's not as great as his other ones, but it certainly deserved it. And look, if it's his last one,
Best movie to have 0 nominations this year? Yeah, Iron Claw, 100%. 100%. Should have gotten something. 100%. Okay, let's see. Wade West. No, I watch. Just like Crybabies That Whine.
What do you think you're doing, Wade West? Crybaby, you're being a crybaby yourself and whining.
Should have put you in the elimination chamber.
God damn it! You let me out. I'm gonna put him through.
What up, Bobby? I love Bobby. Two things I saw at the end of the Oscars: Kimmel and Robert Downey Jr. on stage laughing and hugging it out. Oh, did they? I didn't see that. Okay, and the dog from Anatomy of Fall fake peeing on Matt Damon's star. Okay, did that come up at the end?
That must have been in the in the after show. That he did his show last night. Yeah,
at the end of the Oscars. Okay, I missed. I did turn it off right after they won, so I didn't see the end of it. So okay, that's good that they were hugging it out. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Spanner V. What's your top 3 most anticipated movies of 2024? Well, Dune, which already is out. Deadpool and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I say Joker 2, but I agree with Kristian on Deadpool 3.
Yeah, that was up for me too. I can't remember how far up it was. Okay, this one is Mr. I Crap and Shits. It's my favorite fucking name in the last 2 years. I'm screenshotting this right now. Mr. I Crap and Shits. God bless you, sir. Oh, who's on the case? Crap and Shits. God,
get in here, Crap and Shits.
Get in here. Who? You know who? Crap and Shits. Best. Cena was hilarious. Loved Arnold, DeVito, and Keaton. Never thought I'd hear that Godzilla theme at the Oscars for sure.
Right.
Unbelievable. Do you know who it was? It was Crappin' Shits, son of a bitch. Crappin' Shits. Amazing.
Professor Crappin'
That's
Shits.
it.
Again, god damn it.
And not only did he have the best name, he ended the fucking show.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Crappin' Shits. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, guys.
What a fun show that was. That was a good one. Thank you for all the questions. Got a lot of them here today. John, thank you, buddy. What's going on this week? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can always find me at the Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says, the Outlaw Nation. Come and hang out with us. We got so much going on here. Not only do you get to my reviews and reactions, live watch-alongs like the Oscars there, but also great shows like the Geek Buddies, the Hot Mic with Jeff Snyder, the Jedi Way with Laura Kelly and Kevin Smets. And Winston and I have been kicking around a show that we might be doing really soon. It's a pop culture show. So just keep tabs on that and come and hang out with us and subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. Would love for you all to come and take a chance on the content. We'd love to have you. And thanks for having me today. And great to see everybody. Thank you, Kristian.
Before you go, can I get controversial with you for a second?
Sure. Oh, now?
Yeah,
now?
no,
You
no.
put
But
me in the corner.
But I heard your plug, and I was like, do you still find it viable and beneficial to do a Star Wars show weekly?
I'm not doing it weekly. It's bi-weekly because Laura can only do bi-weekly. So we do bi-weekly, but you're not wrong. I mean, my Bad Batch reviews have done almost nothing,
I didn't even touch it.
even with the Geek Buddies. And it is a bit frustrating. And I think I'm trying to decide what to do with it. The thing is, I love talking Star Wars with Kevin and Laura. So to me, it's almost like a joyous hour of my week.
Can you create another show and just have a Star Wars segment with those two?
I don't know if I could do another show with those two and create a Sour Wars segment. I think Laura only does.
What I did. I mean, I only need to say that because that's ultimately what I did because every time I did an example, I wanted to see. We led with 3 Star Wars topics on last Wednesday's show.
Yeah.
And then did a Dune story. And I asked the audience, I said, which one would you want us to do? Thumbnail and main story. Everybody, it was like 65% Dune. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit about Star Wars anymore. I actually got one more here.
I'll have a conversation with them at some point. Yeah.
Cupcake Bliss. If Dune makes 650 worldwide, would that be considered a failure? No, not at all. Both movies together would only cost, I think, like $330, $340 or something too.
Yeah, and Dune's going to keep going for a long time. Yeah. And then when the buzz hits about the Academy Award nominations, it's going to pick up a whole new steam. So yeah, it'll be fine.
All right. Guys, thank you. And John's got to get out of here. So, John, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us here. As always, Apple Podcast, Spotify. I cannot thank everybody enough for being in here today asking the questions, but I also wanted to thank those people who reached out to me over the last couple of weekends. It seems like every weekend this happens, and told me that they got one of our sponsors. Like, when I tell you that you guys are the ones that are really keeping us going, when the sponsors keep coming back because you guys are getting them and enjoying stuff for yourself, thank you. Thank you. And the link is in the description for all of those. We've got the UAP show coming up tomorrow. We have the UAP news channel that's up now. It's called Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff. You can find it. Just do the search. Thanks for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. You guys rule, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, everyone. We'll see you soon. We're going to be back really soon. All right.